All right, if you're a leader in aesthetic medicine, you know that getting great results is only half the battle. The real challenge? Building a practice that keeps your best patients coming back. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a strategy that does just that. It goes way beyond your typical loyalty program to create real, lasting patient devotion. So let's get right to it. This is probably the question that drives you nuts, right? You deliver amazing, life-changing results. Your patient is over the moon, and then poof, they vanish. You never see them again. So what gives? Well, the answer isn't about your skill or your technique. It's all about how the human brain is wired. Okay, so here's the core of the problem. A molecular biologist, Dr. Ari Masudi, really nailed it. He calls it the reward delay problem. And it's all about that critical gap, the time between the actual treatment and when your patient really sees and feels that final amazing result. Just think about it for a second. The procedure happens today, right? But the wow moment, that final jaw-dropping result, that might not show up for weeks or even months. And here's the catch. Our brains are incredibly impatient. They're wired for instant gratification, so that long wait, it basically weakens the connection in their mind between your clinic and the amazing feeling they're supposed to get. The experience just feels less rewarding, and that little voice telling them to come back gets a whole lot quieter. So if the big problem is a delay in the reward, what's the solution? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. We have to create immediate rewards. But, and this is the key, not just any old rewards. We're going to dive into the science of surprise and use it to tap directly into the brain's own motivation system. And that brings us to this powerful concept, variable reward systems. Now, this is not about handing out a freebie every single time someone walks in the door. No way. This is about strategic, unpredictable rewards. The science is crystal clear on this. Random rewards are way, way more powerful for building habits than predictable ones. It's like the difference between your scheduled paycheck and finding a $50 bill on the street. One is just meh, expected. The other gives you a real jolt of excitement. Okay, so that's the what. Now for the fun part, the how. Let's get super practical and break down a framework you can literally start using in your clinic tomorrow to engineer this exact kind of loyalty. With every single patient that walks through your door, you have 3 golden opportunities. 3 key moments: the consultation, the treatment itself, and yep, even the checkout. Each one of these is a chance to turn a routine step into a wow moment that builds incredible loyalty. And this is where micro rewards are your secret weapon. We're talking small, totally unexpected gestures. So maybe during the consultation, you say, you know what, I'm going to add a complimentary skin assessment for you. Or in the treatment room, your skin is responding so well, I'm just going to include this extra little area, no charge. And then at checkout, hey, as a thank you, here's a sample of our brand new serum. The key word here is unexpected. Each little surprise fires off a little hit of dopamine in their brain, and that builds a super powerful positive feeling about your entire practice. Okay, so now let's scale this up. You can actually gamify the patient journey by creating tiers. This gives people a real sense of status and progress. It starts simple, right? A welcome gift for a silver patient, but then it builds to things like priority booking for gold members or exclusive access to new treatments for your platinum and diamond patients. This creates a powerful, ongoing reason for them to stay with you and keep climbing that ladder. So, you might be wondering, does this stuff actually work? Well, one practice that put this exact system in place saw an annual retention rate of, wait for it, 91% for their top-tier diamond patients. I mean, that number is just incredible. It's proof that when you make your best patients feel like VIPs, they stick around. And just to put that 91% into perspective, look at this. The retention for patients who aren't in a tiered system, just 54%. The difference is absolutely massive. We're not talking about a small bump here. This is a complete game changer for patient loyalty. But it's not always about gifts or discounts. There's another huge motivator we can tap into: status, the need to feel important. So, with their permission, of course, publicly celebrating your patients, maybe featuring their amazing transformation on your social media, or even just sending a beautiful handwritten note, it makes them feel like a true VIP. And guess what? That VIP feeling shows up right on your bottom line. The data shows that patients who get this kind of social recognition end up spending, on average, 27% more. It's simple, really. When people feel seen and celebrated, it directly influences what they do next. Okay, this next part is maybe the most important piece of the whole puzzle. For any of this to actually work, it has to come from the right place. This is about shifting from just doing transactions to building real relationships.
It all comes down to the mindset behind the rewards you're giving.
Just listen to the difference between these two phrases. First, spend 500 euros to get 50 euros off. Now, listen to this. Because you're such a valued patient, here's 50 euros toward your next visit. See the difference? The first one is a pure sales pitch. It's basically saying spend more money. The second one feels like a genuine gift. It says, we value you. That shift in intent changes everything.
Let's break that down. The transactional approach, it feels calculated, a little bit salesy, maybe even manipulative. It's all about what the clinic wants, for the patient to spend more. But the relational approach, that feels like genuine appreciation. It puts the focus entirely on how much you value the patient. That distinction right there, that's the secret sauce that makes this whole thing feel authentic and work so well. All right, we've gone through the science, we've talked about the strategy. Now let's boil it all down to one simple, immediate action you can take to put all this into motion.
So here's a little experiment for you to try. This month, just set aside a small surprise and delight budget, let's say 50 euros per patient, and just use it for those little unexpected gifts, or a small service upgrade, or just a thoughtful gesture. And then watch what happens. Track those patients, see if they rebook faster, just see how they react.
Look, the science is clear, the psychology is proven. The opportunity to do this is there with every single patient you see. So the only question left is, how are you going to start? What's going to be your patient's very first delightful, unforgettable surprise?